We are Brightside Home Theater.
Line, please. Line. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hey, home theater nerds. Welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The home theater podcast that's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
Oh, sweet sounds of Steve George.
He doesn't sound like he's sick.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So for people watching on YouTube, you can see there's only two panels today, John and I. Steve, we are down to two again. This is a bad omen.
I know.
This is a bad omen. Yeah, Steve is down. He's got the bug. The bug apparently I had. John, I think you said it was like food poisoning or something.
I had I think we had
your version. Mine definitely was not food poisoning. Sounds like what Steve's going through, I went through over the weekend. It isn't fun. So, but yeah, that we'll get to that in a minute. That actually delayed, but luckily I was able to take part in something in a minute that we'll talk about in a minute. But we got to get to the obvious. So, John, what are you doing when I close out the show?
What am I doing?
Are you paying attention?
I'm like plotting out
eyeballing the bathroom.
Dinner, all of the above.
I gotta get out of here. Yeah, DJ, you keep talking.
I hear it, but if you think I've memorized it,
no, I know.
You're crazy.
No, I know.
You're lucky I get the sounds every week.
2 words. I gave you 2 words. And when you fumble,
the sounds.
I got you, buddy.
There you
covered.
You need an ending now. You need the whole closing. Go push play.
What he said.
I have it.
Well,
the problem is I couldn't use it last week because if I'm not on, it doesn't go through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So that was entertaining. I told you guys afterwards. I jumped on afterwards to explain what was going on, and I was like, you had me this close to jumping on. I'm like, what the hell?
As I told you last week, now you know you bring value to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
In case you weren't sure.
Yeah, and just as a heads up to the listeners, we have a lively chat going already. I'll play the role of Steve in a moment, and we'll go through the chat. But yeah, John already said that if I hit the deck this week, the show's over. He's like, I'm not going solo. He's like, we are done. We are one man down. Now, if John goes down, I'll keep going.
Yeah,
I'll keep going because I've done that.
You know how to end the show.
I know how to. Yeah.
And you have the controls. I'll just be sitting here like till tomorrow waiting for the stream to end.
Right. Okay, Deej went down. I am not doing a 24-hour show, so
it'll just be my dark room on YouTube for 17 hours.
Yeah, that'll be the YouTube clip of you just getting up and clicking out the light. Or do you do the and all the lights go out?
Oh no, I don't have
little clap off, clap on.
We have automation now. It's 2025, DJ.
Yeah. Well,
now
that is automation.
Now we just say, well, I hate to say
I
say the A word.
Yeah,
clap on.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's great. You actually use clap on. Yeah. But yeah, so before we get to the chat, we had I had a visit that got derailed, and I'm glad it happened. But we'll pull it up here. So, yeah, Joe Clonick and his wife dropped by the house. They're on vacation in the Northeast, and he stopped by. Literally just left here, now about an hour ago. And he was supposed to come by on Sunday, and there was no way. And I'm like, I didn't want to pass on whatever I had to him, and then I didn't want, and on their vacation, and so he's like. But luckily he was in Boston Sunday and Monday, and today he's on his way down to New York, and his son lives down there. So they were 2 hours away from his son here. And he's like, he texted me this afternoon and he's like, we're coming through and we're not going to be far from Douglas. Like, cause I had already given him my address over the weekend. And he's like, we can shoot up there for like a half hour or so. And I was like, if you want to, I'll make it happen. So I came home and they come home. I'm like, you don't know what your house smells like when strangers come in and you don't want to be that guy. And I got 2 dogs and everything. And I'm coming home and I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. So I got like popcorn candles downstairs. So I'm like, come in the door and I'm like running around the basement with them, just trying to get the smell everywhere. So yeah, they were very nice. Sat and watched, we watched that reference level. And his wife's like, it's not as loud as I listened to, but it was nice. And Joe was like, no, that was good. That's what he listened to. So, but yeah, it was a good time. We watched, what did we do? I asked him what he wanted to see. He only had a limited time. So we did, he wanted to see, Ready Player One, a race scene. So we did that. Really enjoyed it. And then he said, you pick. So of course I went to Star Wars. We watched the opening of that. And then from there, I think we did 2:15 of Maverick. And then I was like, anything else? And he's like, can we see the opening of Twister? And I was like, yep. So the original Twister and Atmos. So we watched that. And that was it. Chatted a bit and checked out my gear and stuff like that. It was kind of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
nice.
It was great. Yeah, I felt awful too over like when I started to get sick. I'm like, oh no. I had an idea it might be coming during the week because people around me were sick, and I was like, oh, maybe I hope I don't get it. And then Saturday, like I told you before the show, I started to fade, and I'm like, oh no. And then Sunday, I was trying, but I didn't feel right. I slept all day, and I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to pass it on to him on his vacation, but he's doing, they landed in Buffalo. They're ending their trip in Washington, DC. Yeah. So yeah. And it was great. His wife's like, I love Boston. It's so clean. I was like, what?
Compared to what?
I was like, I think that's, and I said it to her, I go, I think that's one of those things where you're new to a place and you're just seeing all the bright, shiny stuff. And it's like, when you live there, you're like, this is a dump.
There's literally a song that says, love that dirty water.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So they didn't see the Charles apparently. So
yeah.
But no, they loved it. They love Boston. They did all the touristy, the Freedom Trail and all that. Ara did that too a few years ago when he was out here. But yeah, so it was great. It was great having him out here and getting to see a few scenes. I'm glad we didn't lose it entirely to my sickness. And but yeah, a lot of fun. And then today's it happened to fall on today's Takeover Tuesday with him and Joffrey.
Oh, nice.
From Sendo. Did you? I'm sure you didn't hear it.
I did not.
Yeah, we were talking about it afterwards.
Be sure.
Joffrey's audio was like, do I have a reverb on this thing? It is brutal. Do I have a reverb? No, I don't know if I have it, but it was like, he was like sitting way back from his microphone in a very echoey room. And I did everything I could to help that audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was funny talking to him because he's sitting like this far away. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that you can handle, you can help, right? Just move closer.
But I'm like, he's a guest and he's just sitting there and he's having a good time. So I'm like, okay, I'll do the best I can. It's like, no, it was a really good conversation. I loved talking to him, and he had the best answer. I don't want to give it away here, but the best answer for like, what's a scene or something. Like, he's talking about, like, he's designing all these speakers, and we talked about his history and how he got into the designing of speakers and what he likes to do, and no formal training, just literally just doing it just for the passion, and just been doing this his whole life. And I said, so, of course, sight, sounds, and scenes, right, John? So I'm like,
right.
What's your favorite scene? What's something that got you inspired to do this stuff? Like a scene or something like that. And best answer, hands down. Best answer he gave. I'll tell you after the show. But
I was going to say, are you going to actually make me put it on?
No. I won't. But
Big
yeah,
market piece. You're gonna put it in the back.
Yeah, it's the best answer that like I said, maybe next week we'll talk about it because I'm sure Steve will have listened to it and it'll be a week old by then. But yeah, I got to tease it a little bit, John.
I know.
I mean, I'm taking these marketing classes for podcasting and they got to work somehow.
Well, I mean, you just teased because now everybody wants to go listen.
See,
Find out what
it's working. Yeah. It's working. It's like, I'm not taking marketing classes, podcasting, everybody.
I don't really want to go listen. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Yeah. But yeah. So, but yeah, so that was fun. And, doing that podcast, I've already got next week's ready to go. And, speaking of which, I'm going to be recording soon, whenever he can. But our buddy Travis Baldstadt, he wanted to, he's got a new YouTube channel. So not only is he still working, obviously doing stuff for AV Nirvana, but he's got his new channel at ThrillCat. It's ThrillCat AV Designs. And we'll be talking about that soon. So go over there and check that out. I was talking to him today. We were laughing. I won't get into our conversation because it's pretty funny. I said to him at one point, I'm like, God, I love you. It's so funny. We're having such a good time.
I mean, I like you a lot.
I know. No. I mean, it was so funny. But yeah, he's got some great videos up there already. It's been out for a while. I didn't know about it. I subscribed today. It's doing well. 1,700 subscribers, 32 videos, but all sorts of stuff over there. He's like, he's making popcorn and talking movies with Dave from at I Love Pop Smith. So, because he's done popcorn videos, but upgrading to the JVC NZ700 and him and Chris Deering. He's also got the Endgame myth in home theater, Why You'll Never Be Done. So really some really nice, like really good stuff over there. So yeah, check it out. It out. But yeah, I'm excited to get him on again. That'll be funny because I'm going to tear him apart. Because we'll go widescreen, we'll go CinemaScope, all that fun stuff. So, Rachel, keep the intrigue going, DJ.
Yeah.
I'll try. Yeah. I will try. John and I are like, with no Steve here, and like John said before the show, and his 7 shows that he watches, movies he watches a week. We're like, what? John's like, I got 2 things.
I got about 10 minutes of content, so
yeah, and you got me.
Got the rest.
You got me.
I got you. Yeah,
and
you can just talk about the weather for an hour and a half.
Exactly.
I just wanted to respond to TSG real quick because he's
sure
giving me thanks for recommending The Pit. No problem.
Oh.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, the finale was last Thursday and it was fantastic. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get to the chat. So in the chat, we had TSG Spartan coming in first. Not sure if that was first. Steve gets in there early in the day. He sees who's there and then who gets knocked out and who's the next contender and all that stuff. But we got TSG's in there. Mikey Schramm came in. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, TSG came in at
3:42 in the morning, so he was probably
I got 4:42 a.m. Okay. Mikey Schramm came in at 8:58 a.m. Must have slept in.
Yeah,
he got vacation over there or something. Actually, well, he's in your time zone, so that would be 7:58 his time. So 8:58 my time. Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning for you and him, but it would 9
so
for me.
7:58 a.m. for me.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Steve Att in the chat. Steve Att, and talking to him this week about him and his Ava remote. Got an email. It's kind of working, kind of not. Those Ava remotes couldn't have gone. I mean, anybody could have won them, and it would have been awesome. But it just seems like whenever somebody wins something, it just seems perfect for some reason. Like Nelson's like one of the perfect people to win something like that. He's just so good with that stuff. And I was talking to him. You heard him on the show. And he's like, I got right in touch with Ava, and I got touch. It's like Eddie, and he goes, balls to the wall on it, and it's like that's great. And then you get, Steve. He sent me this email, and I won't go into the long version, but it's he's like he was having remote issues, like things weren't working. He was looking into the first 25-hour show. He was looking into the Control 4. He was talking to Eddie about it, and then Eddie was the one telling him, oh, something's going on with Control 4. You're going to need I almost said prescription. Can you tell how sick I've been? Your subscription, and you're going to need all this. So it's like, he gave me all this rundown, and I'm like, oh my God. And now that goes back to the first 25-hour show. And here we are on the second 25-hour show, and he wins. And I didn't know any of that. It's like, I was like, oh my God. So I'm glad it worked out for everybody. And, but yeah. So, Paul Hurt's in the chat. Hope you're feeling all right, buddy. Let's see. Quite the conversation going there. Rachel's in the chat. We have Rachel. Is that it? Dom. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting down into it.
Yeah,
okay, Dom. Steve, Rachel. Oh, Jordan. Nelson. There we go. Here we go. Mike Schramm's back. There we go. Probably back. Paul says a lot, even in the chat.
Steve George.
There's Steve. Steve George is in the chat. That guy, George.
Yeah.
Brightside Home Theater's in the chat. Dom still. Yep. There we go. Johnny Speakers. How you doing, buddy? Johnny Speakers. Danny Speakers drove out to Expona in Chicago. And he was my delivery guy for the Lumagen to Johnny Speakers. So nice. Thank you, Danny Speakers, delivering to Johnny Speakers. And if you saw her on Twitter, I had the picture up that they sent me of Nick, them two hanging out with Nick, SVS. So I can't wait to hear about how those 5000s sound, the new SB and PB 5000s. Lane Smith in the chat. Let's see. Steve Hatch. Beth 525. Hi, everyone. Beth's back. Beth hasn't been around in a while. Rachel still saying hi. Hi, Rachel. Lane. Marcus Beeb. PF Productions. TSG Spartan. We said. Ariel Alonz. Hey, guys. How you doing? Paul Stewart. And C Big. So there we go. I think that's everybody.
It's everyone.
DJ scrolling through my Guillermo del Toro. There you go. Yeah, exactly. That was Paul Hurt. But yeah. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Chat is now. See, what did we list there, John? Probably 15 people tops.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and think of all the people that are watching right now that aren't talking in the chat.
I know it.
All you gotta do is say hi. Waving doesn't help. You got to actually type something out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Wow. See, and now I know Steve has a job. I don't like scrolling through that. I'm because now I'm behind because now I got to do pictures.
Job security, Steve.
Job security, buddy. Job security. Not only your never-ending mouth like mine. Hey, Ara's in the chat. That's what it was. Damn it. Ara, buddy, I love you. Holy crap. John, what was I saying before the show? I needed a Post-it note.
You're right, that you forgot something.
I forgot something. I was like, I knew I wasn't going to forget because it was super important. And I sat down to the chat. I sat down and we're about to, hit play, record, whatever we're doing here. And I was like, I didn't need a pasty note for this. And if people have seen my wall, I got sticky notes. I'm like, this is so important. And I've missed it the last 3 weeks like a moron. And I'm like, I'm not going to miss it this week. And I almost did. But my buddy Ara pops in and reminded me, holy crap, Ara and Braden, 20 years. HT guys.
Awesome.
20 years. And that was like 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So we're going to be having Ara on soon. And hopefully they're not retiring because it's like I'm listening to their show and people writing in and being like, congratulations. If you do retire, one from, I think it was South Africa, he actually sent an audio email and they played it on the show and it was awesome. The guy should have his own show if he doesn't already. And he's congratulating them. And he's like, you have the right to retire. You guys have done so much. And, step away, be happy, out to pasture, whatever you want to call it. I know we're all getting old, but but at the same time, he was saying we will all miss you, and you do. It's like you like their voices and their camaraderie and stuff like that, and it's like listening to them, their little bit of banter, and listen to. It's not even always about the information. You get to know these people, and on their anniversary show, Braden was awesome. They played like the first 6 minutes of their first show.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if John and I want to do that right now. But maybe in 20 years when we're senile and we don't care.
I don't care.
But theirs was actually professionally done. But Braden's like, all right, so we're going to get to know you. You're going to get to know us. And then Braden says, it was something like that. And Braden goes, well, we really don't know who the heck you are. It was so true, but it's like, that's what it's like. It's like, because obviously I listen to podcasts. We've listened to podcasts long before we ever had a podcast. And you get to know these people and it's scary because you just know everything. They say something and it's like, you remember it. And it's like, oh, I remember when your kid fell off his bicycle, or I remember this, or I remember that. And it's like, all right, it's just weird because you as a listener, we as listeners know all of this. And then you meet, and then now we're doing this and they meet you. And you're like, it's weird on the other side where you're like, I don't know you like this. And it's just so weird. And it's like, okay, yeah, all right. They know everything about you. And you're like, and your name is what again? Sorry. It's just, it's so off-putting. It's so weird, but they were, and it's so funny. Day one, like literally the first 5 minutes of their show, Braden nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome. But yeah, so congratulations, Ara and Braden. That was 20 years and they've got 1,200. They're coming up to their 1,200th episode.
Wow.
Coming up in a couple of weeks now. I think they're 2 or 3 weeks away from that. So, but yeah, HT guys, literally starting when 1080p was really just kicking off. You know, if you think about it, like it wasn't in every home at the time. It was, you know, a lot of people, that was back in the day when you go over to your friends' houses and they're like, I got high def. And you're like, no, that's standard def stretched.
Yeah.
Why does that guy's head look like a watermelon? That's high def. No, it's not.
No.
Or then they'd take high def and they'd stretch that even worse. Like, what are you guys doing? Just because it has a feature doesn't mean you can use the feature.
Right. Or you should use it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, HT guys, 20 years. My projector that I obviously still have today, before I had the show, it was their show. I was in a parking lot working on cars, and they said that the Sony went on sale on Amazon for like $500 less. It was normally $5,000. I think it went down to $4,500. And I was like, deal. I mean, Ara said it. It's a deal. It's a great project. I gotta go. Got it. It's sold. Literally bought it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then
that was waiting for you when you got home from work.
No, it was like 2 days. It was like 2 days. It was pretty cool. And then and then I started. That was in like August or September of 2019. And then I started this podcast in like October, November.
Right.
And right after I had redone the back wall of the room. And a year later, it's like, you know, not even a year later, I was on my show, we're chatting, and today we're friends.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but yeah, congratulations to those guys. I can't even imagine 20 years. I mean, it's crazy. So, but yes. Time. Thank God he's popped in. Otherwise, it'd be another week, or I'd be kicking myself later tonight, going, "That's what it was." So there you go. But all right. You got anything else?
No.
Man of many words, right there. I mean, there he is.
Other than just content that we watch.
There we go.
I don't have anything else.
All right.
I don't do anything. I don't leave the house. I have nothing to talk about, nothing to contribute to society. I sit in this room or on
Oh,
the couch
God.
all day, every day. So,
Oh,
what do
all
you
right.
want to know?
There we go. No, not all that. Not all that, buddy. Not all that. Yeah. So, quick background just to let everybody know. Thank you to everybody last week on Twitter. I put out the picture of me. I went to the Sox game the night after we recorded. So I don't know what happened that night when we were recording. I hadn't had a spike like that of a headache like I told John and Steve afterwards, the pain went from like the back of my head through my eyeball, like I got shot. And I was just like, so it hurt. It hurt to look at the monitors. So that's why I ducked out. But the next night I went to the Sox, and under the sweatshirt that I was wearing, I wore my t-shirt my parents had given me when I first got it. My concussion, it says concussion sucks. So if you've seen it on Twitter, a lot of people liked it. Tons of people replied to it saying, get well, this and that and the other thing. And then people were just replying. People out of the woodwork, right, that when I went off air, people were like, I know you're not okay, because for you to step away from the show, it means something went wrong. Right. But yes, thank you for that. It's just one of those things. There's not really much you can do about it. I am seeing a neurologist, what is it, the 7th, I think, John, something like that, in a couple weeks, few weeks.
Yeah.
And all that is it's going to be able to, they're going to probably do CT scan, maybe MRI. I don't know. He can do more stuff, authorize more stuff, but he can also authorize more powerful medication to break it. And then hopefully your body, all it does is it breaks the headaches, and then your body heals it on its own. And then you wean off the medication, and hopefully the headache that doesn't come back. So that's where we're at. Not much I can do. Everybody just basically all you're told to do is rest.
Right.
And that's just not my strong suit.
Yeah.
So
I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. But yeah, we did go to the Sox game. And it was Bruins night at the Sox. So we had, here we are. So my son, this we used to do. There we go. That's my son on the left, me in the middle, my dad, who had just turned 79, like the 2 days before. Right. And they give you, we had great seats. Let's see if I can scroll through here. There's some more pictures of us. Oh, Bruins night. So there's Tuukka Rask and Chara down there on the field. So our seats are like right there.
Hey, pretty close.
Yeah, really good seats. And you can tell that really not selling a lot of tickets. That's why they have Bruins night probably. Yeah. $60 for the ticket. You get a shirt, you get the jersey and everything. So really can't complain. But we had a good time. It was cold. It's really cold. Oh yeah. So game started early. It was nice because of the temperature. They started at 6:45 instead of 7:05. And at like 7:10, it was the end of the third inning. I looked at my dad. I go, "You want to go?" And he goes, "Yep." We got up and walked out. So then here we go. So took my dad and my son home, and I was back home watching the end of the game, my favorite bar in Douglas. So there you go. Grill on Main. Nice. It's like warm. It's a lot warmer there. Right. It was nice. So
I would hope it's indoors.
Yeah. And they do have, their sound system installed by Brightside Home Theater. So you can't go wrong. Grill on Main, Douglas, Mass. Check them out. Yeah. Joe, turn the car around, buddy. Check them out.
If you're ever in scenic Douglas, Mass.
Oh, it's scenic. Let me tell you.
If you like trees.
Yeah. That's what they said in the driveway. You got a lot of trees.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah. Joe's wife's like, they're kind of blowing around. Do they ever fall down? Yeah, we just put them back up.
Yeah.
No, they don't. No. But yeah. All right. You want to get to some actual we're getting to content early.
Yeah, we are, because we started only 7 minutes late. Yeah. Yeah.
But let's start with this one that you had last week, and then I came in and
I had last week.
Yeah. Yeah, was it last week you watched this one?
Oh yeah. I was thinking I went over all my stuff last week.
No, I know.
Yeah.
This one's for me.
Okay.
I
I
saw
was
this one.
confused. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
I
easy
was
to
so
do.
confused. The Bondsman
Yeah.
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It's in HDR10 plus.
Yes.
HDR10 plus. Not Atmos though, right?
Wasn't Atmos, no.
No.
And I don't have the ability to take advantage of HDR10 plus either. So
Right.
I
But
didn't have that either.
I don't believe I do. I don't think so on the Lumigen. I know it does Dolby
My
Vision.
projector will do it, but my receiver won't pass it through. So if I plug my Apple TV directly into my projector, I can get HDR10 plus, but it's hardly worth it because
Right.
then I give up the sound and all that other good stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought the picture was great.
Yeah, it was fine.
Like,
I didn't notice
really
that
good.
I wasn't missing anything.
I have another one today that I want to say it's scary what I'm going to tell you. This one I actually thought had more pop.
Oh, okay.
It had deeper black levels. It was crisper, or more crisp. I don't know. It's whichever you say. But it just the crispier. It just I thought it looked really, really impressive. Looked like physical media. And the other one I have for today that I'll compare it to is physical media. And I was like, this is weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It looked really, really good. It's like I said, like the costume or whatever you want to call it that Kevin Bacon's wearing, the Bondsman, the bulletproof vest, and he puts on like a jean jacket over it at one point, I think, and you can see, the details that you can see, tons and tons of detail. His face, his complexion, the wrinkles, the aging, his hair, the detail in all his hairs, and the color of his hair, everything so crisp, so like detailed. But like I said, the contrast was so good, which I don't know if, and we say this all the time, I don't know if it's because it was Amazon and we usually go, because it's Amazon, and you're like, this can't be Amazon. This is like up there with Apple Plus and Netflix. Yeah. And it was really, really good. I thought the sound was excellent. I wouldn't say it's like awesome over the top or anything like that, but I thought it was excellent. I thought there were the action sequences, the gunplay or lack of gunplay at certain times, and the crushing and the twisting and the turning.
It definitely points throughout. I don't know if you watched the entire season or not.
No,
but
I'm only like 2 episodes in.
Okay. Because again, we all love a storm, but there's lots of storm scenes and things like that. Where
flickering lights in the first 2 episodes.
I thought the audio was decent too, like pretty good.
Yeah.
Not physical media Atmos quality, but
no, but put it this way, you won't be longing for it. It's not, you'll be like, you're not sitting there going, like, even when I just said to you, this wasn't Atmos, was it? Like, it wasn't clearly not Atmos.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're sitting there going, this would be better. Obviously we're up mixing it. I'm up mixing it to Neural X. So I'm getting the full feel, surround sound, full room engagement. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun too. I didn't get into it as quickly as I thought I would have, because I the way you talked about it, I was like, all right, this sounds fun. You did kind of couch it a little bit, and you said, Steve, this is something for me and you.
Well, and again, I don't want it's been out for a couple of weeks now, so it's not quite as spoilery, but the first, especially you're only 2 episodes in, it's like 8 episodes. The first 4 or 5 of them are very much like episode of the week kind of things where they're very self-encapsulated. It's like he's a bondsman. It's like, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'm going after this guy, and by the end of the episode, I've caught him. The next episode is the same.
It's week to week.
But then kind of like the last 3 or 4, it prolongs the story arc, as not just ending every episode. And I think that propels you into season 2. So it definitely gets more intriguing as the final episodes play out,
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just like he's running around causing all kinds of mayhem, and you're like, is nobody noticing this? Is nobody paying attention to what's going on in this town with this guy? But they
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. It's all chaos. I mean, like you said, they're like, what are you, 15 minutes into this, and you realize it's not what you thought it was going to be.
Which again, I didn't want to spoil, and I still don't think we should, because if you don't know, it's a fun little twist.
Well, it's in the description too, but it is in the description. It's right on our screen.
It is. Well, because when you have the episode 1 queued up, which is what I had last week, the description doesn't say that.
Oh, so, I have season 1, and it's like, and that's just all it says. Number 2 in the US.
I guess if you read it up front,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't going into it, so
yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's funny. Right. They'll in the beginning of episode 2, and they sit down on the porch and have their little conversation. You're like, thanks, Ma. I'm not that bad. It's fantastic.
And like you said, I still think it's probably more for Steve.
I like this stuff. This is, like you said, it's like there are a few other movies that are some of my favorite movies that are just like this,
right?
And it's I'm thinking of one. You mentioned it last week, but I don't want to bring it up again. But the one, George Clooney, is it Salma Hayek? It's like, it's a good movie, right? It's Harvey Keitel,
right?
Winnebago. I don't want to give anything away.
Similar level twist.
Yeah.
Not
Tarantino.
Because this one gives it to you in 5 minutes. That one you watched.
That one gave it to you in like a half hour, right?
Yeah. Well, it was almost halfway through the movie, I think, before you knew what was happening. So
yeah. That's true. You were good 45 50 minutes in, and then it was like, and I saw that in the theater.
Me too.
For people that don't know what we're talking about, too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, when you didn't know, it was like, oh, what's happening?
Wait, what?
What's happening here?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a heist movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Gone Bad, and it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one kind of blew me away. But this one, you've seen this all the way to the end, right? So
Bondsman, I'm done with it.
Is there going to be a season 2?
Well, as I said last week, I don't know.
I wasn't listening. I was on the floor.
I know you
John.
were on the floor.
Literally on the floor.
It absolutely needs one, because the story does not wrap up by the end of the season. But whether we get one or not, I guess will depend on how many people watch it. But there's a definite cliffhanger, and it leaves you wanting, the story to continue. So hopefully there will be another season.
I can already see how.
And again, it's fun and it's short, and they could do multiple seasons. The storyline is wide open. So you could go all kinds of directions with this. So
all right, cool. All right, I'm looking forward to finishing that one out. But yeah, all righty then. Let's see. Before we get to our next one, I want to talk about something that's going on in the chat that I haven't seen yet. They're saying, Nelson says, hey, DJ, Youthman compared the new Kaleidescape Strato M to a 4K stream on the Apple TV that he purchased.
I don't know. I watched that video, though.
So, you watched the video. I haven't seen it. What did he display it on?
So he had it on his Hisense 85-inch, I guess, his living room setup.
Okay.
And they watched some of Top Gun Maverick and one of the Marvel movies. So kind of what he said in a nutshell was that he didn't notice much of a difference in image quality between the 1080p Kaleidescape and the 4K stream on Apple TV.
True.
But the sound, being that Kaleidescape has its full sound capability, he said obviously, blew away the stream, because
and that's what Nelson said. He goes, he preferred the sound of the Kaleidescape.
Right, because you're getting physical media quality sound. So so he talked about that, and how he went into it very down on the product, couldn't really see where the applications would be, and now he definitely does.
Yeah.
And at 85 inches, he said he sits about 12 feet away. It was very, it was very good quality. Now, again, blowing it up to bigger than 85 inches,
correct.
Who knows? And then the
or
other thing
even
he
better,
mentioned,
going smaller, you're really going to
he says
see it.
Right. If you're at 65 inches or smaller, he says you wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
And
I think you wouldn't know the difference between the V, never mind the stream. Right. And I'll tell you right now, the video between the V and the stream, you will have a hard time discerning it. It's there. Right. The bigger you get, the easier it is to see. And the other part is it's the colors too, the vibrancy of the colors and stuff that you're going to see between and you have to be looking nitpicky. They're getting so good with the stream now that when you have a good stream, and I have to preface that, when you have a good stream. Right. So the issue with streaming is you never know.
Bandwidth, right.
Your bandwidth. You could, you could just be downgraded just a little bit. And I'm not talking going to full pixelation. It could be anything. You could just be crushing your blacks or something anything can cause issues with that. Whereas if you have, physical media or like a Kaleidescape where it's self-contained, you don't have those issues. You have a super consistent bit rate and everything. So that being said, a good stream, the video is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. It is hard to tell when you A/B back and forth.
It's always the audio.
It's hard. Yeah. And the audio it blows it away.
Right. But the other thing he mentioned and he showed it, it's the footprint of this thing. It's not much bigger than an Apple TV. Yeah. It's pretty small and lightweight. He says you could, hang this thing on the wall behind your TV and
but not only that,
it was there.
Yeah. And you can take it with you.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. This thing you could take to a hotel room and watch it,
that's what I wanted to do with
a hotel TV, but you could.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do with the V.
Right.
And it's a little bigger, but it has a bigger hard drive. But this is the same thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. Why don't I want this? I'm getting one for the living room. And I'm like, maybe I won't connect it to my entire system. And I'll just put it upstairs and anything. Because I'm not going to watch a ton upstairs anyways.
Right.
But if I want to, like I said last week, I want to do it upstairs in the living room for special edition stuff. Look at the special features, right? So if I want to watch the special features for The Abyss, I'll just download it.
Right.
I'll know 10 minutes before I want to watch it, and I'll just download it to that. Keep it as an independent player, and then just download it. And then if I go on vacation, I'll download 6 movies I want to watch in a hotel and have it at that quality and that interface. So, because I already take an Apple TV with me too.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm glad he did it. I mean, he's perfect one to do that type of thing too, because he did it years ago. He's the one that, he was part of it when they did the blind shootout.
Right.
And they had the Mad VR in line, and people were like, I don't see a difference between a $2,000 projector and a $30,000 projector.
Right.
They're like, wait, what? Yeah. So yeah, that's
when I have this, $12,000 Mad VR in line, I don't see any difference between these two projectors.
No, John, that was the free Mad VR back then.
Oh, okay.
Mad VR they didn't exist. No, they didn't exist. It was they were tone mapping with the free software version in a computer, which you could probably still do.
I think you still can, yeah.
Because that's basically all these things are. A Lumagen and a Mad VR. It's just a supercomputer that's just does one. It's got one job, John. One job.
I thought he was I thought he was talking about the equipment itself, because I was like, I could buy a, whatever it is, $15,000 piece of equipment so I can tell the difference between these two projectors.
It's and you don't have to spend that. Like, you can get the entry level Mad VR for the tone mapping, or you can get a Lumagen at. Right. I mean, you can find them. I mean, if you're lucky enough to know, a podcast host that has an extra one lying around. Yeah. You might be able to get a hold of one.
You might be able to. If only I had a co-host that had one.
Yeah.
Around.
Sorry. Danny Speakers wasn't heading your way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's you put that in line, and that's the thing. It makes a big difference. But back to the Strato M, like what Youthman said, even 85-inch, that's a great testing right there, because like I said last week, you forget your displays up convert to 4K too. So they're taking this 2K, they're putting it out in 4K anyways. Right. But you are getting the Dolby Vision, the HDR, and all that stuff. So that's awesome. Yeah. So chat's going good. They won't be carrying it, dude.
Which I don't think he showed it on his website, so I don't know where PF is saying that he won't be carrying it, because in that video he clearly showed the V and the M as available on his website as a dealer for them. So unless I misunderstood something, I thought in the video he specifically said they would be carrying it. So
it's fine. Okay, so here it is. This is good. Steve at in the chat saying, it irks me to spend $3,500 for a large OLED and then go to a 1080p machine. But then again, not sure I would do Kscape at this time in my life if it was $1,000 for 4K. So he's not like, he's at a point in his life, like he doesn't want to redo the collection. He doesn't want to do all of that. So I get that. But if you're spending $3,500, did I say 35,000? $3,500 on an OLED.
Right.
Yeah. Do you see the value in spending 4K on the V? Or is your OLED, is that a 65, 70-inch OLED, top of the line, that you're not going to see the difference? So why put the money there? You know, you literally won't see the difference because the pixels are indiscernible. So that's one of the things. But then he also says, I still think this is Steve at still in the chat. I think makes more sense for current users, as DJ says, who want it in a second or third room. Right. Definitely current users will see the value in it like that, right? Because trying to get another one in my house costed me $4,000, $5,000, whatever it was, or even finding like I still have my C that I could put upstairs. Right. You could do all that, but there's a value in that C. I can sell that. So this coming in at $2,000 into my house, of course, current users see the value. We want this elsewhere. We already are in the ecosystem. Right. But I do think there is and Mikey Schramm is a great example. And there's a lot of people like that want to get in, test the waters. And if your system is like Mikey's or at 85, like Michael's, and it's no different. And it's like, you're into the Kaleidescape ecosystem, and it's like, there you go. Right. It's a great way to start. And I mean, if it doesn't work out, I've never met a person. I've only known one person to return a Kaleidescape. I don't know him. I just heard a story of one person that didn't like it. It's like, all right. Everybody else is like, all right, I need more.
Well, yeah. I mean, I mean, I see people sell. I mean, you see people selling out of the system all the time
They're upgrading. They're usually upgrading.
Most of them probably.
They're trying to get to the next system, right? So they'll come in, and that's why there's such a healthy market on eBay for the Altos way back when, but you got the S, the C, those are all for sale, and it gets you in there.
I'm sure most of them are upgrading, but there's got to be a few that are dumping the system, for one reason.
It's tough too, though. I mean, you got all those movies, then you dump
Well, that's the whole thing, because
that's why I think you never see people do it. It's like you make the commitment.
Right. Because because once you got a few grand in movies, also,
right,
it's hard to start over again.
Yeah. But think back, like Laserdisc, I couldn't sell all of a sudden, get rid of all my stuff. When it was dead, it was dead.
Well, right. And that, we've all said many times, it's happened multiple times. We've gone from VHS to Laserdisc to DVD to Blu-ray. We've gone from cassette to CDs to MP. I mean, we've upgraded our media a million times already. So
right.
But I don't know if there's another big upgrade from 4K discs coming. There probably is, but I don't know that we have to do it again.
No. I don't know if we have to. I know they're coming with, 8K is coming. Kaleidescape's getting into 8K. all of this stuff is coming. Now, that's the same thing. You're looking at 200 inches or bigger before you notice a difference in that.
Right.
Honestly, and it's, I'm not trying to, and I mean, people say it all the time to me, and it's like, oh yeah, you're pitching Kaleidescape. I'm like, no, do what we did, what John and I did, and Nelson too, and anybody that's been around since the 80s and all that. If I could give you a piece of advice right now, I'd be like, mine would be like, invest in, if you're young, be like, get a Kaleidescape, because don't start anywhere else. Start with a Kaleidescape and get your collection, because then it's all upgrade. Think of the money we would have saved, John, not having to go through all the different iterations.
If your 4K movie upgrades to 8K, you're probably paying $9 or something like that on Kaleidescape. Now, as opposed to physical, when you have to buy another $50 disc or whatever.
Right. So, exactly. But I also, my advice to people starting out, don't buy a damn thing. Stay with streaming. Yeah. Because it's so good.
If you've never known any different.
Right. But if you want to have the best quality, and like right now it is the best quality, I wouldn't buy discs. I would say stop buying discs, because if you ever want to get a Kaleidescape, get it now.
Right.
Because that first investment, once you're into it, now you're just starting your collection and you never have to buy those again. Right. Worst case scenario, the 8K comes out and it'll be like $9.
Yeah.
To upgrade it or whatever it is.
And honestly, 8K is more of a niche upgrade than 4K was, because again, 99% of users won't even be able to take advantage of it, because how many people can put a 200-inch screen in their house? Not that
in
many.
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How many could put it on the side of it?
Yeah, not that many. So
there's a window there.
What size do you have to go up to from 120 inches, say, that you're going to get a benefit out of 8K?
Yeah, it's like 200.
Right. And
literally,
so who can do that?
Right.
Nobody. So even if they upgrade to 8K on all the media, nobody has to buy it.
And what's funny is
you're not going to know the difference.
Yeah. And what's funny is you see these at, you see the 8K demonstrations at CEDIA or any of the trade shows and stuff like that. And I've talked with Todd about this. I've talked with Travis about it, who's in video editing, and other experts. And they'll show you the 8K images through like the JVC, which can do 8K. And you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like that is, and it is, it's gorgeous. It's not the 8K. It's the high bitrate file that they're using. It's like what are the DVI? I forget the term they use, but it's like literally the file like you'd get to the movie studio would use, right? And here's your demo. You could get that in 1080, and it would blow away 4K. It'd be like, oh my God, look at that. It's like it's the bitrate, just like back in the day when we had super bit. To say it was 480p or 480i or whatever, but it was super bit. So the bit rate was higher and it was crisper. It was nicer. You don't need the 8K. What you need is that bit rate, that demand, that constant, all that information. And that's how that stuff works. And it's, you hear about that stuff and it's like, I've seen stuff and I've talked to people you're like, wait a minute, that was a 1080 movie? And you're like, you would have thought it was 8K, but it's that high bitrate file that they had special, it's shot with the IMAX cameras, and it's not like necessarily a movie. It's a shot of a train or, a sweeping shot going down a river. And you're like, look at the detail in the water and everything. It's gorgeous, but it's possible, but it's not necessarily, it's not your pixels. It's the bitrate is what the most important part is. So yeah. All right. That's it in this week's nitty gritty minute. The nitty gritty minute.
Oh, is that a new segment?
I guess we got rid of all our segments, and now we're just adding them back in willy nilly.
Got to come up with a sounder.
Yeah, exactly. The willy nilly minute. I don't know. What did I call it? I forgot what I called it. Nitty gritty minute. There you go. Yeah. All right. Let's get to this breaking news to me.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo! There's another episode, everybody.
Yeah, this was not the season finale like everybody thought it was.
Yeah. So Daredevil Born Again, season 1, which is like season 4,
Season
really.
4, really?
Yeah. See, it was going into this, John, you thought it was the final one, right?
I thought it was as I was watching it because
Yeah.
somehow we just all assumed it was 8 episodes and we started talking about it weeks ago.
Yeah.
That episode 8 will be the finale, and I watched the whole episode thinking it was the finale, and it sure ended like it was a season finale. But lo and behold,
Yeah.
there's one more episode.
Yeah.
Tonight.
And
Yeah.
you told me like literally
hour ago.
minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
minutes before we started the show. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Because I wanted to talk to you like spoilers before the show and without talking about it on the show. And we never even got to it. I was just like, you were like, oh, that's, it ended like it could be the ending, but it's not. And I was like, wait, what? It's not? So,
yeah, I don't know what triggered me to look. Something about the episode made me look something up after I finished watching it. I don't even remember what it was, but I ended up on IMDb and it said next episode, Tuesday the 15th. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Part 2 of season 1 already?
Yeah.
And so then, of course, I looked it up and I said, no, it's episode 9 and it's a 9-episode season. So for those that didn't know, there's one more episode.
Our luck, it'll be like another bank heist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Our hero is in dire straits.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I thought the episode was great as is.
I did too. And
I thought it was a great,
and if it was the finale,
not a season finale. You knew it was the halfway.
Right. But it definitely could have been the jumping off point for
yeah. I thought a lot of great nods to it in it. I feel like the writing, the production, it's stepped up from the Netflix series. Do you feel the same way, or do you think it's just recency?
For some reason, and I still haven't figured out why this is, and it goes back all the way to the beginning of the first episode. Every time he's in costume, it puts me off. I don't know what it is about. Something about the choreography seems different, or something about it just kind of feels off to me as opposed to the Netflix version. But everything else, you're right, I think is great.
Yeah.
Like and again, not that I thought the writing was bad on the Netflix series either, because I still think episode 3 of that series is one of the best seasons of any show ever. Like, it was so good.
Of the first season, you mean?
Of the first series, like season 3 of the Netflix series.
Oh, season 3, yeah. Season 3 of the first.
It was so good. Just all the Kingpin just being so many steps ahead of everybody. It was just so good.
And but what's funny is so much of that plays into this.
Right. So the writing was definitely top notch, but I feel like, yes, there's a bigger production budget here. There's, everything seems to be elevated, but I don't know what it is about when he's in that costume. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but we never really saw him in the other series, like using his, swinging through the city, like on his clubs and, doing his spider web thing, swinging through. Every time he does that in this show, it looks off to me. It looks wrong. I don't know why. It's just maybe just me.
Yeah.
And his choreography seems different. And I don't know. Something about it is off. But when he's not in costume and he's kicking butt or doing whatever, it looks fine. I don't know what it is, but I don't know.
I think. Well, do you think it's a possible? No. You think it's possible?
It's the same costume.
I think it's adapted a little bit.
But for the most part, though, it's the same.
But I think. Do you think it, like we just said, or I was saying, I think the production is better. I think the visuals are better. The detail is better. And when they go to these fight sequences now, the drop off from how well this is, like the production of everything, the acting, everything about it, it's so well grounded that when they go to a fight sequence, it just seems too much, in comparison. You know
Nothing
what I
has
mean?
felt like the hallway scene or the prison hallway scene or some of these one-shot fight scenes that we got in the previous incarnation. Nothing in this show has felt like that,
Right.
Nothing has been that good. Nothing has been that intense,
No, but have you gone back and watched those recently?
Not for a while. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, I have gone back and watched them.
Yeah. So
I
they're
mean,
great.
in the last few years, but
they're great,
super
but
recently.
go back, like I've watched them recently within months, and like the taxi cab scene, the hallway scene, the hospital scene that was season 3, but the hallway scene in particular in season 1. And I remember the first time I that was over a year or about a year ago when I went through all of them, right?
Yeah, I remember you were.
Yeah, but I've done that recently since then. When you see that hallway scene again, you're like, huh. It's not as spectacular as we thought it was then.
Maybe it's not.
We've experienced so much,
Well, we've had so much what's come out since then too. Like so much.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Since then, yeah.
Right.
Even things like Reacher and other shows where you're just used to that a little bit more now, I guess.
And that's why I'm wondering, like on this current iteration, where you're like, huh, it's like they have to up it, and when they do, it's you see like, and it is Marvel, so they're trying some stuff. They're using wire work. They're spending some money here, and it just seems to be like what, like we said, like Daredevil seems fairly well grounded.
Right.
And well, I'll talk about it in another one in a minute, that I'm like, he should be grounded too, and he's not. And it's kind of the same situation we have going on here with Daredevil. But I don't think it takes away from the show.
No, I mean, absolutely. It's great. Like, I enjoy the show. I think the story is fantastic. I've really enjoyed all of it, but yeah, I don't know. And a couple of people are kind of saying similar in the chat that, maybe it feels rushed sometimes, some of it. And I don't know. Doesn't feel quite as good as it did before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like he's had a couple of fights outside the costume that were really good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They seem better. And I don't know what it is, but when he's got that red suit on, which thankfully it doesn't happen too often, there's only about 8 minutes of the whole season where he's had it on.
And that's kind of the way the season 1 was. Yeah. On Netflix too, he never had the suit. You get it.
Well, luckily,
I got it.
I don't have to sit through too much of it, but even when he kind of got in the fight with the cops in the apartment a few episodes ago or whatever, those fight scenes and Wilson's fight scenes, look great.
Yeah,
I mean, they all look good. So
lots of callbacks.
I think that stuff might have not been reshoots, and maybe some of the Daredevil stuff are reshoots. I don't know exactly. But I guess there's a little more CGI work when he's got the costume on too, because
I'm sure
he's trying to do more. Matt Murdock in his suit and tie isn't, swinging around the city.
No. That is weird. The shooting, you're not shooting webs, but he's kind of doing a
which
Spider-Man
again, that's
thing.
very comic book-esque. Like he does that in the comics.
Oh yeah.
He's got 12 foot of string, 12 foot of wire in there, but he can swing between 7 buildings. But that works in comics.
How do you get the grappling hook to let go?
Right, because first of all, it's 2 billy clubs. I don't even know what's hooking onto anything. But anyways, it works in comics. It doesn't seem to work quite as well here
in live action.
I'd rather he just stay on the ground, and do his thing, or like just show up at the next scene.
John, which Which
get out of the
Spider-Man
cab.
was it?
Yeah, he gets out of the cab and shows up at the next location.
Which Spider-Man was it when he was in on the golf course and he had no buildings to swing from, so he just had to run?
Was it the first one? Was it
I don't know. He just ended
Far
up
From Home
way
or
out
what?
there. Yeah,
No,
it was
wasn't Far From Home, but
I think it was the second one.
yeah. But yeah,
And he's just
again,
running because he's like,
it never
oh, damn.
happens in the comics, right? There's always something to
Swing
on in the comics, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if he's got to cross a golf course rather, what is he? What is he swinging from?
Grab a cart.
Yeah,
like everybody else.
or swing off the back of the cart and fly behind. So
yeah. But I thought I do enjoy the picture quality too. I think this is it's a real tester for HDR.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. I mean, there's a lot of nice grays, a lot of detail in there. This here, you can see the image on the screen. It's black and white party, black tie, and she comes out in red. Yeah. Just the contrast. Everybody there dressed. I mean, characters from other shows
because that is so comics.
Well, that's him in the comics, but it's also a callback to the painting.
Yeah.
Right. The painting with the blood on it. And then she comes out in the red. And then, I mean, it's just, I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, they're reenacting the painting
right
in this. And it's, and they've showed that painting a few times. One is a callback to season 3, but it's also a callback to, that's how they met.
Right.
Him and his wife. She sold him that painting. So, but yeah, that's the big white suit. That's the only thing he doesn't have is the pointy feet.
Yeah, well, in the comics, he would always have a walking staff with a jewel on the end of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Smacking people in the head with it. But
yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, the big white suit. Oh my God. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm very excited to hear that we have another episode.
I'm glad I could bring that to you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
you
no problem.
Brightened my day.
I know. Hey,
look at you.
So what's what I'm here for?
Yeah.
I'm nothing if not cheerful.
Yeah. That's what I've always said about you.
I know. That's
let's see. What do we got here? Do you want to do, what do you got? 2? You want to do this one?
Well, I can't tell what it is, but whatever you put up is fine.
Yeah, you'll know. All right. Here you go. Take it away.
All right. So this is season 6, I believe.
7.
Is it 7?
That's 7 seasons.
7 seasons. You're right. If I only read my own picture. Season 7 of Black Mirror dropped this past week on Netflix. Now, I know you've seen the random episode here and there, but you really are not a watcher of Black Mirror, right? You haven't watched it. I mean, the nice thing about it is you don't really have to be. I mean, there's definitely it's definitely a universe, and there are some callbacks, that happen. But by and large, every single episode is self-contained. It's like the Twilight Zone kind of thing. So you can watch any of it. But I've watched all of this. I really enjoy Black Mirror. I don't think anybody doesn't know what this is by now. But in the off chance you don't, it's an anthology series. It kind of takes place in the near future. You never know really quite when it is, although there is one episode here where it's basically like 2035. So it's like 10 years from now. And they use, technology to kind of give you allegories to current events and things that are going on in present day and what the logical evolution of something might be. I actually finished it today when I dropped this image in. I had 2 episodes left, Eulogy, which is episode 5, and then episode 6. And I watched them both right before we started today, actually. So I'm finished it. As far as the series itself goes, or the season, going back to the first 6 seasons, I feel like there was always 1 or 2 standout episodes, but by and large, the rest of the season was just kind of okay. This season, I feel like, and maybe it's because we had quite a long gap between seasons, but I feel like all 6 episodes of this season were fantastic. Like, I didn't think any of them were filler episodes. None of them had me disinterested in any way. There are a couple that I think do stand out from the rest, but yeah, this is a great season. And if you haven't watched this show ever, you really should check it out. There's a couple of episodes, namely the first episode of season 1, that could be very off-putting. And I've known a lot of people that couldn't get through that first episode and never would go back to it.
Really?
And it's very off-putting, I will say. But after that, there's some really great stories here. The marquee episode for this season was episode 6, mainly because it was kind of a sequel to one of their more popular episodes. And it actually ran for an hour and a half. And it was really, really good. But to me, the standouts are episode 1 and then this one here, episode 5, Eulogy with Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
They are so good, man. Like, for anybody that doesn't want to watch all 7 seasons, watch episode 1 and episode 5 of this season. They are so good.
There was one you told me about years ago, wasn't it?
That was when it was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, and
that
it was
I
the one
watched.
with, like, Annie Murphy, is that her name? She
Oh.
was on Kevin Can F Himself and Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she did an episode last season with Salma Hayek. That I think that's the one I had you watch.
Yes,
because that was really good.
It was a good home theater one too.
Yeah,
that's what it was. But yeah, oh my God, that was a good one.
So that's why I would say episode 1 of this season is a kind of a similar type of episode.
Okay.
And it really kind of hits for home theater people, especially because we're all in this now new reality of we've all ditched cable. And now we've got a streaming service for everything under the sun that keep getting progressively more expensive and paying for additional features. Like, now you're paying to get commercial free. Now you're paying even above that to get 4K and Atmos in some of these services.
Right.
And that episode really plays with that idea.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. And then episode 5, it's just Paul Giamatti almost. So it's like almost like a one-man play for the entire episode. There's like one other character, but they're really good. And as far as the home theater part of it goes, again, some of these episodes visually, they all look great. I mean, it's 4K, Dolby Vision, it's Netflix. This is a marquee series for them, so they put money into the presentation. And, the image quality looks great. The audio, not every episode takes advantage of Dolby Atmos as much as some of the other ones. But that final episode, like I said, the longer episode, it is really a visual and audio kind of treat. It's space battles and spaceships and gun, and I found the Atmos to be actually pretty good in that episode. It's the only one that really stood out to me sound wise. And I just think it's because that was the type of episode that it was. It was like a Star Trek movie kind of episode. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much more to say about it, but those 2 episodes again in particular. And Jordan saying Paul Giamatti is a fantastic actor. He is so good in this. Is one of the better performances I've seen from him. It's really, really excellent. So
cool.
Check those out. Let me know. But
I'll check those out.
Yeah. That's Black Mirror season 7.
So there you go. Nice. And off of that, let me pull up this one. I did catch up on this too.
You hadn't seen that at all, right?
No.
Okay.
And I am like, this one here, I'll pull it up for everybody. So Apple TV Plus is the studio, which we talked about last week.
Steve
John
and I both.
John and Steve loved it. And it's a comedy. So, so when I was like laid up on the couch, I didn't go down to my theater for it, but I almost was going to, because the opening scene kind of lends itself to that.
And it does. Like, it's got some good sound, but it's not. Again, it's not the kind of show where you need it.
You necessarily need it, right? So when I was just, sick on the couch, I was like, oh, let me put this on. And it's funny. I didn't get into it. This is that kind of that uncomfortable humor, which
It
I'm
is,
not-
which
I'm
I know you
not-
don't. That's
I
true. You
don't
don't
like
that.
I
right?
don't like it, but I do like the show, and I will continue to watch it. But it's that cringy, like you're like, oh no, he's not doing like that. The one, what was the episode where he's on set?
The oneer. Yeah.
The oneer,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, and
Yeah.
when he's pulling up, you're like, that's gonna go wrong.
Oh yeah. I was like, that's definitely going to come back to haunt everybody, right?
Yeah, but it's just hysterical, right? And it's like, but I do like even the overall message too. The idea of him like, I don't even want to say more.
Right.
Like you work your whole life for something and then go, whoops.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
well, that time, how many times does that happen in real life? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you want something, and you push
Yeah.
for it, and then you get it, and it's
it's
either
not what you thought.
it's not what you thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
or it doesn't make you happy like you thought it was going to.
Right.
So
Yeah. But yeah, the guest appearances in every episode, you got Ron Howard, Anthony Mackie. I thought those were great. I thought,
well, you get everybody. I mean, Paul Dano is in the opening scene, and then you've got why can't I think of the name? The director, not Coppola.
Scorsese.
Scorsese, yeah.
He was awesome.
I mean, Martin Scorsese and Steve Buscemi, and
Buscemi was a riot.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're mentioning these people, and you're like, oh, there they are.
yeah. Well, because the main characters are characters, but everybody else in the show is a real life figure.
Right. Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
She was, you're like, they're not getting it. There she is.
It's going to be awesome when they start talking about signing Seth Rogen to something, because
Right. Yeah. It's but yeah, I thought like the ending of the oneer, or the ending of the one with Ron Howard.
it was really good.
That was so good. That was so good. What was it? The missing reel.
Yeah,
that one was really good.
Yeah.
With Olivia, was it
Olivia Cole? No, not Olivia Coleman. Olivia Wilde.
Wild? Yeah,
Olivia Wilde, and Zac Efron was there.
Zac Efron, yeah, he was hysterical. But yeah, it's all like they're real people, and I thought Anthony Mackie was fantastic.
Yeah,
and like, I won't say the line, but they're like, no offense, and they look at Anthony Mackie and he goes, no offense taken, this shit's real. It was so good. It was so, because they just insulted him. It's like, but yeah, it's really good. That drops weekly, right? What is it?
Yeah, it drops weekly, and I
on
think it's
Wednesdays.
I think it's Wednesday night. Yeah,
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, episode 4 dropped right after. Well, I guess the day after we recorded last week, but
yeah. So, but yeah, that was.
Sometimes it shows up. Like, I think we actually watched it after, like, Tuesday night. Sometimes Apple shows drop like the night before they're supposed to come out or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It was funny listening to Ron Howard go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like.
Well, yeah, because you think he's like the nicest guy in Hollywood, right?
Well, that's what they bill him as too.
Yeah.
Everybody says it, and that's what they say. And of course, they're going in the opposite direction,
right?
Which was great. But yeah, but yeah, got caught up on that, so that was fun. Let's see. Let's get to this one. See if you want to hear about this.
I don't want to hear about it, so move on.
Well, too bad.
I don't even know what it is.
We'll lay on the floor.
Okay.
Captain America: Brave New World
Nice.
dropped on Kaleidescape today. 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, all of that. And I've gotten through probably 50% of it today.
Okay.
I would have finished it, but damn, Joe showed up.
Yeah.
Interrupted me.
House guest, am I right?
Yeah, damn house guests. But it's it for a theater demonstration of all things. Jeez.
Maybe you should just watch the last half of Captain America.
Yeah. So you saw this in the theater, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. It was
I mean,
fun.
it was fine. It was serviceable Marvel movie. It was not the best, but it was fine.
I know we talked about it on the show. The scene when they shoot at Harrison Ford. Not really a spoiler. There was something there that I didn't see before. And I was like, because we said, how does such and such get a gun?
Right.
How did he sneak it in?
Which I still don't know, but I guess you're going to tell us.
I'll tell you, because if you like us, he doesn't sneak one in. Pay attention. When you see it, you'll be like, I'm an idiot. He doesn't. He just gets up and goes over to Secret Service and pulls it out.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, yeah. It's all answer
I guess you
point.
watch it once in the theater and you're kind of like, yeah, I didn't catch that.
Exactly. You didn't catch. You thought he just stood up and started shooting. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. He gets up and he's like, and he goes over and he like outmans a Secret Service guy and like takes it right out. And then you're like, oh, well, that answers that question.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yep. So question answered.
I sit corrected.
Yep. Once again, we look stupid.
Question asked, question answered.
Exactly. But yeah, this one here, this is the one I was talking to you earlier about where I thought Bondsman looks better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, this looks good. I mean, but it just doesn't look as crisp. It doesn't look, I mean, it's grainy at times. I mean, is really nice HDR depth, atmospheric depth and inside rooms and stuff and light coming through windows and, halo, all these things. It looks really, really nice. It just at times, this isn't very crisp. It's not what you know what I mean? And I went from,
and I think that's interesting. Yeah. Because Disney discs, they might not always, they're not always known for the audio, but
right.
I haven't seen one yet that didn't look.
I'm not saying
great.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's just like, I was like, wait a minute, and I had just watched Bondsman, 2 episodes of it. And I'm like, this is weird. And it was like, there was some like grainy shots, some darker shots that I was like, light transitions that I didn't think were like, I'm like, this is weird. The audio though was really good. Really good. Okay. There was a scene. Let's see if I have this queued up correctly.
Well, they can only have one or the other, so I guess they put their money
apparently
into the audio. Yeah.
So this scene here, if you remember it from the movie, is at 56 minutes 41 seconds. I've got a screenshot of it on there, and it's the scene when what's the character's name with the skull?
The leader.
Yeah. So Captain America, Anthony Mackie, goes to step in on him and he hits him with that sound wave thing. And you could see on the screen, it's pulsing down on him. This is an awesome demo scene for your room. Yeah. Because it goes, and your whole room just goes, it's awesome. It was like, I'm just sitting there watching them and it made me like jump. Like I was like, oh my God, backed it up, did it again, backed it up, did it again. Yeah. Really, really good. Really good bass in that scene, in this scene here, because they go from just having a conversation to this, right? Right. So really good demo scene there when you get, when this releases on disc. But the shootout, there's a shootout at the in the Indian Ocean. Remember the planes and everything that really, really good. Nice pans. The great gunfire, great missile explosions, great color. This looked beautiful. It really did with the backdrop of the Eternals. Whatever happened? Right. What do they call that place now? Something Island.
I don't remember.
Eternals Island or something.
No,
like
they had a name for it.
Yeah, they did
for it, but I don't remember what it was.
But it looks really nice. You see all the ships, everything, them in costume, all that. It looks really, really nice, but that's a really good demo scene as well. I wouldn't say it's as good as, and I did happen to just watch that scene and then watch, 2:15 of Maverick. Right. That's better.
Yeah. Well.
But it's a little more intense. This here is like, this is a comic book. So, Maverick was real.
That's right.
This is comic book, right? So
exactly.
But all in all, I thought it was decent, decent picture, above average audio, some really good demo sequences in there. Definitely. I mean, if you've got the collection, you can't stop now.
Well, no, I mean, I'll definitely get it.
If you're new to it, if you're new to Marvel, don't start with this one.
Right.
There's some far superior films out there. But yeah, I thought it's
Namely
good.
the other three that are next to it.
Yes. Oh yeah, Civil War. Yeah, exactly. Like if you jump, I should have done that. You jump to Civil War and go to any of those scenes and how crisp and clean and think of that scene in Civil War when Spider-Man going after Winter Soldier and it was Mackie, wasn't it?
Mac, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like yapping away, but just the detail in there and like the talking, that moving around the room, everything, it was so much more crisp. But yeah, and then I think of the Iron Man movies and the detail you saw in the suit and how crisp and nice it was. And then this one here, there was some grain. It just didn't have the same punch that I'm used to seeing. And it was weird, especially coming from, after watching the,
Bondsman?
The Bondsman. Yeah.
On Amazon Prime.
Yeah. I go from Amazon Prime to this and go
1080p. No, it was in 4K, but it wasn't just in.
Yeah. Bondsman 4K with HDR plus.
Yeah. HDR 10 plus.
Which I don't get.
Right. Which we couldn't use.
But it looked great. But yeah. So, I can't wait to hear what other people think. I'm probably wrong. Everybody's like, this is the best transfer ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is another one.
Can't be wrong, DJ. It's your opinion.
Yeah, I know. This is another one where we're talking about Matt Murdock and Daredevil, and like he's supposed to be grounded. So is, this Captain America. Anthony Mackie's Captain America is like supposed to be grounded.
Right.
And he's doing like stuff like precision kicks and stuff and everything. Like, how is he doing this stuff? It's like, and surviving it with.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, who trained him? Like, I don't know where he took his classes. And
exactly. But yeah, it's just so like that's what I'm saying. Like, where it's like, I'm not saying I'm like not leaving my brain at the door. I'm saying that we're having. I think that's what we give it a pass on this because it's a feature film. It's comic books. It's the big screen. It's all that. For one reason or another, I think we're looking at Daredevil and we're like, oh no, this is high quality. Yeah. We need better. We need our fight sequences to be better. And
keep in mind, I'm sure Daredevil has a healthy budget on Disney Plus, but it doesn't have a feature film budget.
No.
So
no,
and it doesn't need it because again, he's a street level hero. He's not
right.
He's not crashing through walls or, pushing planets or doing anything like that. But
I hope he makes it into the feature films, though.
I would like to see him at least in one of the new Spider-Man films. Like, I would really like to see the two of them interacting in some kind of, again, even with Kingpin, even with Wilson Fisk. Even though I would like to move on from him to some degree. I think a Spider-Man, Daredevil, Kingpin kind of thing would be awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to see maybe some cameos in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like from some big screen people, something,
Yeah, there's been a lot of name dropping, but we haven't seen anybody yet.
No, not yet. But yeah. So yeah, that was Captain America: Brave New World. So I don't know when that's coming out on disc.
Somebody said like the 19th. Let me go back.
Of this month?
May.
Oh, May. Okay.
Was it Paul that was talking about it?
All right.
I don't know.
All right. What else?
Oh, yeah, May 19th. I think. Of course, that's the UK release, but that means it's probably like the 20th for us because we usually get it on Tuesdays. Yeah, I only have one other.
This one?
Film. Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
I don't really even know what possessed me to watch this, but I did.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I mean, it's not that it was
endorsement.
No, it's not that it was bad, but I don't know why. Like I queued this up out of the blue.
All right. Well, here we go.
Yeah. So this was Mufasa, the Lion King on Disney Plus. Of course, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, all that good stuff. I had not seen this movie, and as I said, I don't really know why it popped into my head to watch it. Maybe Steve talked about it. I don't remember.
He was the
Steve
most
talked about
recent
this.
one. Yeah. I
Did he
talked
talk
about
about
it a
this on
little,
the show?
like
Yeah, so
a
you
month or
both talked
so
about this. Okay.
separately. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it just stuck in the back of my head. But so yeah, I don't remember what you guys said about it, unfortunately. But I thought this movie was pretty fun. I actually liked it quite a bit. And before you say anything, I know it's a Disney movie and I know it's made for kids. I really could have done without all the musical numbers. I think it really detracted. I honestly, I
For
think it
me,
really
yeah. So I'm the same way.
detracted from the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's fine in an animated feature film, and you get, but I feel like you don't get as many musical numbers as you did in this movie.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to even the animated Lion King, there's like 2 songs maybe or 3.
Right.
It's not like every 5 minutes. It felt like they were always singing and dancing in this movie. And I could have done
Yeah. Us
without
old
that.
men don't like that.
But overall, I thought the story was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the CGI by and large was done really well. It gets a little wonky at times because, whenever you're trying to give like expressions and dialogue to an animal,
Right.
it's obviously it's not based in reality, so it doesn't look, it looks a little funny at times. I thought the smiling and the some of that was a little, like I said, just a little off. But what do you do? It's, you're trying to ascribe physical human characteristics to animals who don't have them.
Right.
But but I thought they looked like lions. I thought all the animals looked like they should look. I thought overall the CGI was really good. And yeah, overall very enjoyable. As far as the quality of it, again, it's Disney Plus. They're pretty good with their streams, and this is no exception. I mean, it looked visually, it was beautiful. There's lots of vistas and
Yeah.
it just really looked nice. And I thought the 4K stream looked really sharp, really crisp. It was really, really nicely done. And then the audio at times was really good. Like stampedes and the roars and some of that stuff that happened, they felt pretty they felt pretty deep. Like there was some good rumble.
The rushing
in
water,
bass.
the stampedes, there was real good bass. I watched it on Kaleidescape and it was
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
and
really
I'm
good.
sure it was even better.
Yeah.
But even for a stream, it was pretty good. Like it really, it felt like I felt the rumble, especially with the stampedes and some of that stuff. It was really good. Again, I'm sure it's better on disc. You and Steve have probably both attested to that. And
Yeah,
I
it was
just
really good.
have
Yeah, it was
kind of
good.
forgotten. But yeah, overall very enjoyable. Like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. Never felt bored. Again, this is the classic story nobody was asking for, but was still really good, really interesting.
Poked fun at the original.
Mufasa definitely broke the bro code, which really caused most of what happened in the future to happen. So it didn't have to go down that way with his brother Scar, but it was fun. And
the bro code.
I mean, bros before,
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that. But but you could see that coming from a mile away. I mean, it was super telegraphed from the beginning, but it was still interesting. At least where the origin of that conflict came from, and like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's worth the watch.
Yeah, it's good prequel. Show you how everything happened. But yeah, the detail, the visuals, like you said, the vistas, the sprawling like landscapes and everything in the background, really, really well done. But the sound and audio on those stampedes and the waters, and then even the musical numbers, they do come alive in the room.
They
As
do.
much
I
as
mean,
we
they,
don't want them.
of course, yeah, they sounded great.
They sound great. Yeah.
But I just never kind of felt myself
No.
connecting with any of the songs. Again, in all the animated movies,
I think it's for kids.
well,
It's
but
just for them,
but
right?
you always connect with those songs. Like
Yeah.
when I watched any of the animated ones, you still kind of always connect with one or two songs. None of these just
No.
caught me at all. Like I just didn't resonate
Well,
with any
they
of
even
them,
said that. They made fun of the first one. We were singing that song for 6 years.
Oh, I know.
Remember? You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's about right. So,
But yeah,
all right.
check it out. It's worth.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Opinion
Pretty
number 3,
good.
I guess, on this show.
What's that?
I said opinion number 3 on the
Opinion
same
number
movie.
3. So
Yeah.
we are done with it. Actually, did he bring it up again?
Who?
I thought he talked about it already. I think he's already got it in there. I think Steve has it in there. I think he might have it for next week.
Oh, does it? Oh, because so maybe he hasn't talked about
Or maybe I haven't taken it out of there yet. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't remember him. I thought I remember him mentioning it, but I really don't remember him talking about it on the show. But again, you know how my memory goes, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But,
all right. I got one more from last week that before I hit the floor, this was going to be talked about.
oh yeah.
So talking
Underrated movie.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Saint from what year was this?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to say it had to be the
Early 90s, right?
90.
I find
Well,
out.
I have it on Laserdisc. So I'd say 97.
1997. You're right. 97.
97,
I thought it was
okay.
a little earlier than that, but it's 1997.
Yeah. It's but yeah, it's 4K on 4K HDR, DTS Master Audio. I bought this a while ago on Kaleidescape. When it dropped in 4K, I was so excited that it dropped. I was like, oh my God, this got 4K. Because like you said, it's an underrated movie. And I've talked about it a while ago, but it is one of those movies that people like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in that one. Everybody remembers Top Secret. They remember obviously Top Gun and all this other Val Kilmer and Tombstone, of course. But this movie here was just a lot of fun. Spy thriller type thing. Elizabeth Shue, Val Kilmer, and it's pretty good. A pretty good transfer. 4K is pretty good. Audio is pretty good. If you've never seen it, I would probably. What would you say, Joe? I don't say rush right out and buy a 4K.
Well, then I'm trying to see. I don't even know
stream
if it has a 4K physical release. Let me go to. It's not on Amazon. I'm going to go to Google because I was gonna,
really.
Yeah, I don't think I have this. And I'll find it. Maybe it's from one of the
stream.
Well, it might be one of the boutique labels too. Let me see. But yeah, I don't know how much of an upgrade it is from the Blu-ray, but I think it's definitely a movie that you should.
Oh, it's definitely an upgrade.
You should have.
And I watched it before. Yeah.
The Saint 4K digital.
Yeah. And usually when they get a 4K digital, that's when Kaleidescape gets it. So maybe it isn't even out on 4K yet.
I don't
know.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. But it's, it's fun. It's far-fetched, but fun, and like I said, it's like, if you could see it on a stream, definitely, I think it's worth the time. Again, the audio and video on it are really good. So on a stream, and when I say really good, I'm saying it's not like going to knock your socks off if you get in 4K disc.
Right.
I mean, it's good. There's a couple of really dark scenes. There's some there was some detail in there towards the end when what they're trying to do comes to fruition. And it's kind of like, imagine like the Northern Lights type thing. The detail I saw in that was far better than I saw in Blu-ray or Laserdisc or, DVD.
Right.
But yeah, I've always enjoyed this one. This is one that is, like you said, it's not really talked about that much. But it is, a fun movie and a decent home theater experience. When was the last time you saw it, John?
Honestly, it's been a while. I mean, it's been years. I don't even think I own it. That's actually what I was looking to see on Amazon if I had it on my to buy list, but then I couldn't even find it listed. So
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't think I'll buy, like, I won't go out of my way to buy a Blu-ray because I'm sure it'll get a, it'll get a 4K release at some point.
So
I mean, the Blu-ray is $20, so I'll wait for a 4K release.
there's some really, really good pans in this that probably would still translate well on, even on streaming, because they're so well done. There's an one of the opening scenes is somebody is walking, and I know I talked about this when I did this as a standalone. The character is walking into, what do you call it? Like a press conference type thing, or like a meeting, not a meeting, but a big presentation, right? And the crowd's going crazy, and he's backstage or coming in. And that crowd, as he's walking, keeps moving from side to his perspective to where he was, right?
Right.
And that actually moves. That does really, really well. There's some other scenes later where characters are talking at different parts of the room. That moves around. They utilize like the discrete channels really well in a few scenes in this movie that even back on Laserdisc, you were like, oh, wow, this is awesome. And it's even upgraded now. So, and I bet you would still get that because they are so well done. I'm sure you'd still get that through the stream. I just boost your volume probably by about 7 dB to what you used to on a physical. But yeah. So definitely it's worth checking out for sure. So,
yeah. It's like I said, it's a super fun movie.
Yeah. And it's got Val Kilmer.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Shue.
And Elizabeth Shue. Let's see. What else you got? Anything else?
I don't have anything else that I brought to the show. I mean, I watched some other things, but
all right. What else you got? What else did you watch?
Again, we don't have image. What? Go ahead.
What was the other one I was going to say? Oh, never mind. I forgot. Go ahead.
I mean, we don't have an image for this, but I watched the first 2 episodes of, and I think it's called Friends and Neighbors or something like that on Apple TV with John Hamm.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Really?
Yes. It was so good. I really, really liked it. It's got, there's a bunch of people in it too, but now I can't remember any of the other actors in it. But yeah, it's really fun. There's only 2 episodes. It dropped this past Friday, I think, is the premiere of it. I think it's called Friends and Neighbors. Yeah, definitely worth a watch. You'll really enjoy it.
Oh, nice. Let me see. Here we go.
Oh yeah, Your Friends and Neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, John Hamm, Your Friends and Neighbors. Yeah. I saw it's what was the description of it? Is like he loses his job.
Basically, yeah, he's a
job and has to become a small-time thief.
He's a Wall Street guy who's lived, high on the hog. So, he's $1 million house, hobnobs with all these people living in $1 million houses, and yeah, through a series of events, loses his job and access to his money, and basically starts robbing his friends, his friends and neighbors, because they all live in these, incredibly expensive homes, and just have watches and cash and stuff laying around all over the place, and yeah, it's really good though. It's really fun. Cool. It ends. I mean, I'm sorry. It ends. I've only seen 2. It begins with kind of a mystery that I guess will unfold through the season, because it kind of starts in present day and goes backwards and starts working its way up again. So I'm interested to see how he gets to where he is in the first scene of the show. But really, really recommend it.
It came up as at the end of Studio. It comes up as an ad. Yeah, it comes up as an ad.
Well, this is their big.
And I liked the trailer for it. It looked pretty good.
I had read an article, I don't know, about a month ago, and they were really hyping up the Studio and this show as like the 2 best shows of the year kind of thing. So I was looking forward to both of them. And so far, I mean, I don't know if they're the best show of the year. First of all, it's only April, and I've seen some other good shows,
Yeah.
but so far the studio has been excellent. Wouldn't say show of the year, but this has been really solid, and again,
Yeah.
really liked it. So,
What would you say is the show of the year so far?
so far, I don't know. Now
You've seen more shows than I have.
I have. Well, The Pit, probably.
Oh, really?
The Pit for me is the show of the year. As I mentioned last week, again, I know you weren't here for a lot of it, but not since the original Game of Thrones was any show appointment TV for me, where I had to sit down. I sat down at 8:00 on Thursday night every week, and I watched The Pit. And I never felt compelled to pick up my phone or scroll. You know what I mean? Like, it just had me from opening to closing credits every week at 8:00. And like I said, I haven't done that since Game of Thrones. So to me, it's the show of the year so far.
All right. Yeah, I gotta go with Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. What have I watched that's been better?
Well, I don't know, because
In my
I
opinion.
know you don't watch a lot of
I haven't watched a
episodic
lot of
shows,
stuff. Yeah.
but and some I see I have Carl's talking about Dying for Sex. I do want to see that. I haven't watched it yet. White Lotus season 3 I haven't watched.
Yeah. Travis
Didn't like it.
White Lotus season 3.
I couldn't get into White Lotus season 3. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I watched the first episode of season 3, and I was out. Like, it just did not capture me at all. So maybe I'll go back to it, because of course I've heard everybody talking about it for the last 2 months, but I did not like it. The first episode of season 3. So
Speaking of that, what did you think of, I know we'll talk about it next week, but what did you think of, did you see episode 1 of Last of Us?
I did.
2?
Yeah.
What'd
Great
you think?
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. Again, I'm waiting for something to happen that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But
All right.
but yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great continuation of the story. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, I thought it was a little slow
I mean, it was
for
but
a
it's
season premiere. I thought it was a little slow.
yeah,
know,
but
they
they're not
they
trying to
started
hook
with the
anybody
drama.
new. We've gotten you
Okay.
already from season 1. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're trying to hook new viewers that are going to start with season 1 of episode 2.
Yeah, true. But you still don't want to be like, oh yeah, like, put it this way. You don't want to have forgotten about it next week.
True.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of content out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was excited for it and everything. I was like, I mean, I'll be there, but it is not at the front of my mind.
Well, it was slow. It was slower, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought
Oh,
it
I
was-
did too.
I mean, it had some good action. There was some good scenes in there.
Yeah.
And it's definitely setting up potential wrinkle
Everything.
to the, I don't know, zombies you call them, I guess. I don't know what they are, but
Yeah.
are they smart now or whatever? Who knows?
Right.
So
Smart zombie.
yeah, we already had that movie.
Yeah.
We had the smart zombie movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, next week, Steve will be back and we'll have 2 episodes of Last of Us.
And he'll
We'll
tell
have-
us why we're wrong. So
Exactly. I'm sure he's telling us right now.
Yeah.
And he's probably like, all right, I can't. Definitely while he's listening to this later. And he's like, oh,
yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah. And then we do have the Daredevil finale to talk about next week too,
Yeah,
which I thought
definitely
we
have
already
that.
had that this week.
I know.
So, but yeah. So, oh, Paul. So if you can hold off on the spoilers for a year or so, that'd be
We
great.
try.
We try, but
Try not to do too many spoilers in general, but sometimes they just
Yeah.
slip out.
they just leak out,
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
A lot of things are hard to talk about if you're trying to go too
100% spoiler free. Yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
like, okay, well,
exactly.
now I can't talk about it at all. So-
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I had this one queued up from a few weeks ago, and I mean, you want to go spoilers here. So, Man of
Oh.
Steel, but not the whole movie. but this was a few weeks ago I did this. This is a scene. So a scene at 48 minutes, 59 seconds. So this is Man of Steel from 2013, Henry Cavill's first iteration of it.
Right.
And pulled it up on the iPad, used that to get to the scene. And it's the scene when he first takes flight.
Right.
And it is such a great scene. But I was like snapping these pictures I was going. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
And then you get to the part where he takes off for the first, like here, I took this picture because I love this part where he like crashes through a mountain.
Yeah.
Crawls up out of the ground and his hair hasn't moved. He's Superman.
Yeah.
It's like, look at, there it is.
Yeah.
Perfect hair.
It's super gel, super everything.
Super gel. But this scene was like, it was for this part here. Remember that in the theaters?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I couldn't wait. I hadn't seen it in a while and I couldn't wait to watch it in the theater. It's like, it's been so long and I'm like, oh, with the upgrade. And I'm like,
There's parts of that movie that are great.
Yeah.
And I mean, and he definitely got a raw deal.
Yeah.
Out of that role, but there's parts of that. Speaking of, what do we think of the new trailer for? The new
I haven't
Superman?
seen it.
Oh no,
I'm scared.
Oh man,
Is it
so
good?
excited. I'm super
Are you?
excited. Yeah.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
watch it after this.
Watch the extended trailer because they dropped an extended trailer. Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, James Gunn knows his superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And this looks just quirky enough, like it's kind of just Guardians enough to be humorous.
Okay.
But he definitely takes it serious. Like, you know, it's
You
definitely
sure? Out of a trailer? You got
I
that?
mean, at least what I've seen, he's taking the project seriously. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he knows these characters, he knows comic books, he knows Superman, and I think he's treating it with kind of like a comic book reverence. Like this is definitely this will probably be the most comic booky Superman movie we've gotten.
Yeah.
You know?
Which kind of scares me.
I don't
A
know,
little
man.
bit.
When you see Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner with the bowl cut, it is great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks ridiculous, but it is so right off the comic book page that just that alone makes me feel like he's treating it with the comic book reverence that it should have.
All right. Yeah, I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous we're all gonna be like, oh.
I don't think so. Again, it's a 2-minute trailer, so definitely could be wrong. But the tone of the trailer feels like it's going to be really good. So,
yeah, you and I got a lot of mileage out of this one, Man of Steel, and
we did because
our discussions, our disagreements.
We disagree on the ending. But
well, I don't know if we disagree.
It changes the movie for both.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
you're not.
We're right. It kind of ruins the movie for me.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, but this scene here that I was talking about where he first takes flight and it's that boom. And I got to say, it wasn't there.
Oh, no.
I was like, already, here it goes.
Where'd the boom go?
Yeah. Here comes nope. No boom. No boom. So I was a little disappointed. It's still great. Visually, it's gorgeous.
Right.
But that probably has a lot more to do with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
But it's such a great scene. I really enjoyed the movie. I remember coming home from the theater and being like just raving about it, loving it. But yeah, I just watched that one scene a couple weeks ago to break it down, and I was like, just didn't have the kick that I was expecting.
Nothing to break down.
Oh, well, that was the breakdown. There you go. So this is not demo material.
Right.
Look. So if you bring people in, it's still a nice scene, but all right. Now I got to go watch that trailer. All right.
Yeah, let me know what you thought of it.
That should do it. You all set? You got anything else?
No,
we made it to 2 hours, buddy.
We did.
You were nervous.
Well, I just didn't think we had enough content to cover, but
yeah,
I guess we did.
Yeah.
So
we'll always get by. We'll get by. So, all right. And thanks to the people in the chat. That got us some mileage right there. Always. We could just sit and comment off of them. So
for sure.
Thank you very much to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Patreon supporters. No Patreon today. Sorry about that. I'll try to be back for next week. Lots going on. Lots of reasons why. But I'll try to be back next week. But yeah, so thanks to everybody on Patreon. Thanks for everybody supporting us. Whether you're doing the $1 a month, where we could retire, or if you're just telling people about us, wearing your merch, getting the funny looks from people like home theater. What's that? And so, but yeah, and don't forget to check out ThrillCat over on YouTube, ThrillCat AV Designs. That's our buddy Travis, and he'll be on a Takeover Tuesday soon. We'll be talking about that. And and we'll be back. I'll have another Takeover Tuesday next week. Definitely one coming up with Todd. We got one coming up with Travis. We got one coming up with Ara. And Joe's got a couple scheduled now with some more people, speaker company. Ooh, and a designer. Home theater designer, high-end home theater designer. Can't wait for another high-end home theater designer.
Nice.
So I love to pick their brains and go, so how do I get that air purifier into my theater?
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
And why do I need that? Okay. Thank you. I will get it. But all right. That will do it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following along. What do you got to do?
Go push play.
What he said.
That is right. That's how it's done, John.
That's how it's done.
Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.